Hello everyone, welcome back to another art time lapse. Today I am doing a Studio Ghibli inspired piece and it's going to be on one of the pieces that I am really moved by and it is the Studio Ghibli Spirited Away. Now, I think I did something very similar when I was doing House Moving Castle like a month back, where I did like a major infrastructure or some kind of like landscape or building related to the theme of the movie, and then I would add like chibi mini versions of the characters that are in the movie throughout that landscape. So, of course, for Spirited Away, one of the main themes or like the buildings that it takes place in is this beautiful, magnificent like bathhouse with all this heritage and history. So I decided, of course, it's so iconic, I have to paint it. It is not my first time painting this bathhouse. I can't remember how many times I've painted in the past, but like I feel like it's a good place to start. So I started painting the bathhouse, but I wanted like a pop of color. So in order to get that pop of color, I know that I can't start off with dull colors. So I'm going to start with like my lightest colors and then try to paint the darker colors around it slowly with time. This will make some of the lighter colors pop so much more. I know right now it still looks a little dull, but once you add on the darker colors and it creates that contrast, it's going to make the piece like pop so much more. I know I'm gonna do a darker background or like a darker blue shade of sky, so that will make the lightness of the building stand out so much more. The other thing I constantly reminded myself as I was painting this is that this is just the background. Like the main cast of characters is really the highlight of this piece, which I am like secretly very excited to work on, but I'm saving it to the very end and adding that on. It was actually quite hard to paint around the building, making sure that I don't get all the details. I usually start by outlines of the building and then painting those large gaps and like those large spaces in between afterwards. The overall piece took me, I think, maybe 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, only because like I only get like 2 hours or so every weekend to work on it when my kids are asleep, when they're napping, at least for now. And the other thing is like I did quite a bit of research in terms of what color scheme and like how I want the tower to look like, how much details to add in, like very much a lot of time before that. So that's not accounted for in the process of painting this. Right now the dark blue color looks like it's really popping, but the thing about gouache is that once it dries, the darker colors actually dry a little bit lighter. So I just probably go back over that blue color later on with a darker shade. Using my round brush, I'm just adding on some details for the building. For the highlights, instead of using black, I love using like dark blues and different shades of color to create more of a, I want to create more dimension to it. I just don't like the harshness and like the very extreme contrast of black, so I try to avoid that for a lot of my drawing. Anyways, I hope these art time lapses are helpful for you to kind of understand a little bit of the process as I go from like a blank piece of paper to a full-blown drawing, to kind of know like the steps I take in case this is something you're interested in. You can definitely slow down the video and have a more thorough look. The other thing is I just want to share with you like the process of how like an art piece comes to be, because a lot of times like I think people see the final work and they're like stunned, like it looks beautiful, it looks wonderful, but like I feel like the process and my journey through it, I would love to take you along on this journey on how I get there and the mistakes I make along the way and how it's not always perfect and the struggles that I have sometimes as I paint like a drawing, how I might have to make changes, alterations, or like maybe start all over as well, as you'll see in some of my previous videos. And even in videos coming up, I can totally see my artwork requiring a lot of alterations. And I want to show any up and coming artists or even new learners and beginner artists that like the process is not easy, or like it doesn't look as easy as it does on social media. So be patient with yourself and give yourself like room to make mistakes, and it is going to take time and it's going to take lots of practice, but you're going to get there as long as you just keep going. So for the rest of the video, I just want to show you a little bit more about the process for this piece as I add on the little characters for this Spirited Away inspired piece. I hope you enjoy. Well, that's it for this time lapse on the Studio Ghibli inspired Spirited Away piece of the bathhouse. I hope you enjoy the process. If you have gotten this far in the video, I appreciate it very much if you would consider giving this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Well, that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully I will see you next time. Take care and stay creative, everyone. Bye for now.